On a winter evening, the howling wind was echoing outside. For friends Anna, David, Sarah, and Mark had stayed late at the office for a night shift. A sense of tension hung in the air as the dark corners of the office, the empty rooms, and the dim lights made them feel like something was about to happen at any moment. After finishing their work, they decided to play a board game to pass the time. The game had a horror theme, which eased their anxiety slightly. Mark said, "We have to do something tonight. This office feels strange to me," his eyes scanning the dark corners of the room. The others laughed and tried to encourage themselves, convinced that the game would help them forget their fears. As the game progressed, the pieces on the board began to move slowly. Anna reassured them, "This is just part of the game, stay calm." But she felt her heart racing. A few turns later, the lights suddenly went out. The silence in the office deepened, and a sense of dread filled the air. "Isn't this just a power outage?" David asked, but his voice echoed strangely. As they exchanged fearful glances, a shadow suddenly emerged from the dark corner of the office. The shadow approached slowly, and David whispered, "It's just our imagination," trying to convince himself. But everyone's eyes were fixed on the dark silhouette. In an instant, the lights flickered back on, and all the game pieces flew off the table. The shadows circled around them. They shrank back, not knowing what to do. Suddenly, an old man appeared at the door. "Did you call for me?" he said, his voice deep and echoing. The friends stared at the old man, his face lined with wrinkles and his eyes shrouded in deep darkness. "We were just playing a game," Anna whispered, her voice trembling. The old man smiled, that it was anything but friendly. "The game isn't over. We haven't even begun," he said, and the air around the table grew thick. Fear consumed the friends as the game pieces seemed to come alive. Mark shouted, "We need to get out of here," but the door slammed shut. Outside, a dark corridor loomed, and terrifying whispers echoed from the other side. "Don't leave us," Sarah cried, but she too was being pulled back. At that moment, the dice on the table fell to the floor and shattered. It felt as though something was calling them. With terrified eyes, they looked at one another as one of the game pieces suddenly moved as if it were alive. The shadowy man took a step forward and said, "Follow me." The friends unwillingly began to follow him. In the dark corridor, a cold wind rushed around them, intensifying their fear with each step. Suddenly, the old man turned toward a door. "Come in," he said. But when the door opened, a dark pit appeared. They could hear the horrific whispers rising from the depths of the pit. "This is a trap," David screamed, but it was too late. In that moment, they were pulled inside, and the door slammed shut behind them. The next morning, the office was busy with work again, but the four friends who had stayed late for the night shift would never return. Since the day they vanished, strange sounds filled the office, and the eerie whispers from outside never ceased. Everyone talked about the cursed game that danced with ghosts in the darkness of the night.